So this is the Air Jordan 1 Low OG Nitro Nigel Sylvester, better with time, and that's a bit of a mouthful. But these sneakers released a couple of days ago, and I managed to hit up on a pair on the raffle via Foot Patrol, which I'm kind of surprised to get in all honesty because they are limited in numbers. But glad that I've got a retail W on these because it was, I suppose, at the beginning of the year, one of my more anticipated ones. You know, Jordan 1 being a Nigel Sylvester collab, so it came with a bit of hype, and the box is, you know, really nice. You've probably seen on other reviews, but essentially, you know, it comes in this black muslin and varsity red, and it's kind of like, I suppose, an alternative Chicago pair, if you will, because of the colorway being almost bread-like, I suppose, with like white, red, and black. And it's obviously got a bike on the sneaker on the box lid, and the box has got this kind of worn out look to it, and you know, sort of slightly unfinished look that you can sort of see, and that kind of goes around the sneaker and it's got that sort of worn look to it as well, which you know, kind of what you'd expect from, you know, I guess trying to take inspiration from biking and you know, sort of wearing your pairing, and Nigel Sylvester being a BMX stunt racer, which I suppose adds to the overall sort of character of this sneaker. And I think for that reason, the storytelling's really good on this particular pair, with, like, you know, you can sort of see all the different marks on the sneaker. Hopefully you can pick that up on the camera, but it's kind of the artificial, I suppose, age looked and sort of scuffed look, which I actually like on this particular pair. I'm not a fan of cracked leather, which it's not what this is, but you know, if you've got the appropriate storytelling, which this has, I think it works really well. And you can sort of see even on the swoosh as well, it's got this sort of painted look to it. It's not actual, I guess, you know, actual leather panel, or you know, I guess any other type of material. It's just a paint on there, and it's on both on the, you know, this side of the sneaker as well. You know, so those kind of things are really cool. Obviously, the Jordan 1 is a classic sneaker and was sort of released in 1985, and you know, obviously first Jordan sneaker to come out and designed by Peter Moore. But yeah, the overall sneaker, like I said, it's got a cool look to it. In the box, you know, you do get 2 extra pairs of laces, so you do get a pair of red laces but also a pair of black laces, but I kind of like the sail ones that are in there. It goes nice with the tongue. So yeah, for me that's, you know, perfect, and I think it looks really good. So in terms of the comfort, I think overall, you know, they're pretty much like any other Jordan 1 really, so not anything too special. I think for me, it generally sort of thinks, you know, for me it feels like it's just one of those where it's, you know, pretty much neutral on foot, quite sort of simple. I mean, there is an air unit in the heel, and it's got a rubber cup sole with the polyurethane midsole in there, so nothing special. And then also, you know, sort of the sizing, and it's basically will go with your normal Jordan 1 size really. So most people are true to size. I tend to just go up half size because I have a wide foot and just tend to like extra space and not break into my sneakers. So, you know, for that aspect, it's one of those things where it should be, like I said, true to size for most people. And the leather quality on this is pretty good as well, so you can sort of see, I think, you know, they've done a good job with this particular one. It's not like amazing material, but it's still very good. And also with the traction, I think overall you can sort of see it's got that kind of powdered look on it, but it's much like any other Jordan 1 really. So the back part on the wet wear, they're not great, but the front part, you know, with this traction circular pattern, works really well. So with the look and style, I mean, like I sort of said earlier, I do like the kind of the way it looks with that sort of worn look, and you can kind of see on the back you got the Jordan logo, and it's kind of sort of misplaced slightly, you know, to do with like the stenciling. And then there's also the fact that this painted on swoosh represents sort of Nigel Sylvester, you know, when he was younger. Basically, you know, when he was like BMXing in these sneakers, they tend to sort of rip apart and the panels sort of come off, so he decided to sort of paint the swoosh on there instead. So, you know, things like that, it's just a nice touch and nice sort of storytelling in my opinion. And I'm never getting bored of the little mini swoosh, and it seems to be a Nigel Sylvester thing now, so which I'm kind of glad about. And then you also see things like on the insole as well, you get Nigel Sylvester printed on there as well, and the insole feels quite sort of squishy as well, which is good. And then in terms of its shape, you know, so this one's got kind of similar to, I guess, the Travis Scott versions, where they've got 8 lace loopholes, which you can sort of see on here, and with a slightly larger swoosh as well on the medial and lateral side of the sneaker. So for that reason, I think, you know, they've done a good job with this, and I do like the hit of the bikie air on the tongue as well. And then also on the inside it says Jordan Biking Company, established 2017. So, you know, just overall, I think it's just a really well made sneaker. So for the ratings, I'm going to go with a 5. I think it's an awesome sneaker, and I think it's easy to wear with pretty much anything and everything, which you can't say the same thing with the Brick by Brick. So for that reason, I kind of like this, I suppose, more, you know, for the wearability. In terms of the comfort, I'm going to also go with a 4. I think the insole on here is quite sort of spongy and quite a little bit thick, so I think that kind of helps. Obviously, it's still a Jordan 1 at the end of the day. It's not going to be the best in terms of comfort, but it's still fine, you know, for everyday use. And also with the quality, I think they've done a good job with the quality. I think the materials on this is good. You know, not like amazing, but it's still better than what you'd normally get. And slightly thicker cut and slightly softer as well, I guess. So for that reason, I still, you know, I think this one's a 5. But in terms of cost, I think, you know, it's kind of up there. It's £145, which is probably similar to any other Jordan 1 as well, I guess. But in that reason, so I'd probably give that a 4. But overall, I still think it's one of the best sneakers to be released this year, just because it's easy to wear, and I think it will go under the radar because Jordan 1s aren't popular at the moment. But I feel like it's still a great sneaker. So, you know, if you're into Jordan 1 lows like me, then you definitely want to sort of pick these up. And I just feel like these will kind of creep up in value over time. I think initially they'll probably start to sort of climb down, and then eventually I think they'll go back up again, just because of the Nigel Sylvester hype as well.